Good evening, everyone.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Finance Friday, the CEO Lounge. We got another special letter today. I thought we had a comment already. We're going to give people a couple of moments to get in here. Let me see. I'm going to go repost the link
It
again.
says we are live, so we are up and going. So definitely, let me see. Do we have a comment already? Oh, yeah. Send your anonymous letters to Finance Friday Letters at financefridayletters@gmail.com so that even if you don't have a full letter idea and you have some topics or something that you want to discuss, then please send that over to us. You can even DM me so that we can know what you guys want to talk about. Hey, Josie, thanks for
Hey,
joining
Josie.
us. Happy Friday. Yeah, send in your anonymous letters again at financefridayletters@gmail.com. If you have not already subscribed, please go over to our YouTube channel and like, share, and subscribe and hit the notification bell so that even if you start getting busy on a Friday, you won't miss our letters. And for some reason, if you do miss it, then go back and watch the replay, comment and engage. I always try to go back on the replay and comment to everyone and engage with everyone as well. But definitely go back and like our YouTube channel because we do want our channel to grow. And the way that it grows, you guys know how these algorithms work. We got to get some likes and some subscribers. So tell all
Subscriber.
your friends to subscribe. Yes, we need some more subscribers. Tell all your friends to subscribe. Send it over to check on your strong friends and send them this link in the meantime.
No,
As well,
seriously.
because everyone needs a little bit of finance education. So don't be afraid to share it with a friend. Yes, I had I really been showing off the past pretty much most of the summer. So I was thinking about it the other day. Not only have I been showing off, meaning I have not attended a lot of my last closings. I'm almost sure like my last 5 or 6 closings, I have not attended. I've just kind of been there remotely. So I don't have a lot of, how I usually hold the photos with, everybody holding the key and so forth. I haven't had a lot of my content like that to post simply because I haven't been at closing. I have been getting my clients successfully to the closing table. I was still doing my job, but oftentimes, just to get there to hold the sign, especially with a little bit of traveling and trying to enjoy my summer a tiny bit with my family, then I have not attended a lot of showings as well as closing. So I look forward to after everybody gets back in school, I'll get back to posting a bunch of homes and all that stuff. But I've been hiring showing agents. I just been being more productive with my time. So a lot of times when I'm out at properties, I'll get videos and all of those things. And I haven't really been out at a lot of properties. I feel like I've been home or traveling or out and about. Like I still been working, which is the great thing about real estate is that, I can do a lot of things from home, my phone, my laptop, but I haven't been out at a lot of closings. So shout out to all of my clients who closed over the summer. Shout out to everybody who's gotten pre-approval letters, all the things. They are still very happy with, I'm right there remotely guiding them through the process, but I'm happy to have a good team now at this stage of my career where everything gets held down and it doesn't always require me to be present and the show still goes on. So I'm very excited. But shout out to all of my clients that also closed on their property this week and last week. I have a lot of investors that's been buying up properties. So maybe we should do an episode about that also. People send us at Finance Friday Letters. Let us know again some topics if you guys want me to talk about investments, investment properties, how we got started. I would need Jerome. I would need Rome to hop on that episode so he can kind of chime in to all of
Yeah,
our
that'll
things.
be a good one. Shout out
Yeah.
to you guys, everybody that's closing.
Yeah, shout out to them because Yeah, a lot of people have been getting investment properties and not even really doing a lot of renovations and things like that. It's just one of those markets where the prices are where you don't need to necessarily do a ton of renovations and you can still get some properties quickly and just move somebody right in. So shout out to everybody that's been doing that. Hey, Kim, thanks for joining us. I'm glad that you are here as well.
Yes, thank you for tuning in today.
I was just thinking about it. What's your temperatures where you are, Monte?
Um, I'm not sure. It's like 90 something though. I'll tell you that. Probably like 96 degrees or something down there.
96. Yeah, Jules had a little pool party
Oh
today, so
yeah, it
she
says
has some
96.
friends over. But it's definitely not 96 here, but still a nice day, but definitely not as hot as it probably is in Houston today. So let me know when you're ready to get started. I'm ready to hop right in. We got another letter. You know, it's a no judgment zone, but another letter about you guys out there doing exactly what we told you not to do and faking for social media. So we're going to get right into this conversation again.
Yes, let's do it. Let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it. So again, welcome everyone to another episode of Finance Friday, the CEO Lounge. I'm your host, Dr. Ebony McArthur, and I'm here with my oldest son, my co-host.
Monte, everybody. I am brand CEO.
Yes, absolutely. And we have another great letter for you guys this evening. The subject of this week's letter is I'm driving a $70,000 car, living in a luxury apartment, and I have $412 in my savings account. So, dear Dr. Ebb and I am brand CEO, I am in urgent need of a reality check. Over the past 2 years, as my business and career started taking off, I felt this massive pressure to look the part. I leased a luxury car, moved into a high-end high-rise apartment, and started buying designer clothes every single month. I convinced myself it was all branding and that clients slash investors wouldn't wouldn't respect me if I wasn't pulling up in style. I've heard that a billion times. Hey, Jerome, thanks for joining in.
Good day.
On the outside, everyone thinks I'm completely killing it. People come to me for business advice, and on Instagram, it looks like I've got it all figured out. But on the inside, I am drowning in stress. My monthly overhead is so high that one slow month sends me in a panic. After paying my lease, rent, and minimum credit card payments, I barely have anything left to actually invest back into my business, let alone real estate or the stock market. I'm spending thousands of dollars a month to project an image of wealth, but in reality, I am living paycheck to paycheck with only $412 in savings. I am brand CEO. How do I break out of this mind trap and refrain my mindset from looking rich to actually being wealthy? And Dr. Ebb, how do I restructure my finances and scale back my lifestyle without feeling like a failure or losing my professional credibility? Signed, Rich on the Gram, broke in real life. Kim already said the comments are already coming in. Kim said, Jerome said he could just smell the fakery in the letter already. No judgments, no judgment-free zone, but we're gonna give y'all our advice. Financial literacy he needs, especially. Hey, Brandon, thanks for joining us. Happy Finance Friday. Again, here we go again. You know, here we go again. And what makes these letters, like, to me, every time I'm kind of ciphering through when I see 2 or 3 different options for what we can talk about, it all seems kind of very similar. And the only thing that makes it so realistic is that this is what people are really going through. Like, we know, I saw that, I'm gonna toss it over to you. I saw somebody, and I cannot remember who posted it, but it was just this week. Someone posted, statistics show that only 6% of women make $100,000 or more. So everybody else is lying. And it just made me think, going back to, sometimes I haven't watched Kendra G in a long time. Shout out to Kendra G. But every now and then I will click on, and everybody knows I like to sit and kind of watch some of her clips. But every person says that they are baller, like everybody. Like it cannot be true. I do not know what is happening. Everybody makes all of this money. Everybody needs somebody that is and when they say six figures, most people are just referencing 100,000, but I've even been seeing people say 250. And I saw a young lady say that she was looking for somebody that made at least 400. And I'm just like, do you know the percentage of people that actually make that?
Actually make
Everybody else is lying. I promise you. Um, and the percentage of people that make it, I promise you, a lot of them are looking for a very specific person. And if you watch Kendra G, you'll know, the same thing over and over and over. But yes, Brandon, here we go again.
go again.
Back to this again. All right, so you want to go first? I've been talking. I'll toss it over to you.
Yeah, I think that's kind of how. I think that's kind of. I mean, the first step that Rich on the gram and Broken Real Life needs to take is just understanding that, everybody, that everything she sees on social media is not real. If you've been here from on Finance Friday from day one, then Monte believes 1% of everything he sees on social media. So I feel like that's probably what she should do. She asks how could she reframe her mindset, and I feel like some of these letters, people just want like the reassurance or want to hear from somebody else. But I mean, exactly what you said. It's just time for a reality check. Time for you to look yourself in the mirror and say, I need to cut back on some of my expenses. I need to cut back on some of my bills. Like it's time to just restructure. And depending on your age, I mean, not even depending on your age, but depending on your age for this letter. But as far as restructuring, you can restructure at any point in your life. But I definitely feel like she's at a time right now where she needs to sit back and restructure, because every time she have a down month, then she's like having a setback. So maybe you need to decrease some of your bills. Maybe you need to purchase. I don't have it right beside. Maybe you need to purchase the financial planner. Write out your expenses and stuff, and just be real with yourself. I mean, nobody can see inside of your bank account, so nobody can really tell you what you can afford and you can't afford. So at the end of the day, it's going to be up to you to have that hard reality check, with yourself, and stop faking it.
Yeah, and the thing that is so understandable about this is being in the real estate industry, we see it all the time. And that's one thing that I was even warned of early on, that you'll see people, coming out to showings of properties, and everybody wants to sell, the $1 million home. Everybody wants to, cater to that specific audience. And when you want to do that, you have to look the part. You know what I'm saying? Like you have to become a certain way. You have to come in a certain car. You have to have certain clothes, you have to have a certain handbag, all the things. So that's why I always say, listen, it's way more people who are in, just kind of the quote unquote average bracket of purchasing a home and all the things and income, revenue, all of that, than that top 1%. So I feel like I can get, I can reach even more people with some of my financial education by just catering to, that average everyday working family. And then I can just be my regular self. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what I prefer to do, because I don't want to go. And I see people do that. They'll get their real estate license and immediately upgrade their phone, and not because they do contracts on their phone so they need more storage, but now they just feel as though I need to step it up. You know what I'm saying? They'll change their clothes, they'll go get a car that they haven't even had a transaction yet. They'll go do all of these things, and you'll sit around, and I'll go to, a bunch of real estate conferences, and everybody's in, their fancy clothes and name brands and this, and it's just like, I call it, a pissing contest, because everybody wants to, how's the industry, because I'm doing 15 million and I'm doing 20 million and all the things, where it's just like, I don't even really like having those conversations, because to me, that's really like low hanging fruit. If you're doing business in this area, then most of the time we know the movers and shakers, like everybody knows it. And I think I heard on Earn Your Leisure, shout out to those guys, that they spoke about recently, saying like wealth is actually kind of quiet. You know what I'm saying? And I always say that the true people, and I mean, when I think of people that I know for a fact, I haven't checked their bank account, but I've seen them do some transactions that are like, and multiple times, not just once. I've seen multiple times they are dropping a few $100,000, a year cash on multiple things. And when I think of those people, I'm always like, I never see them take a photo. I never see them being flashy. I never see them talking about, how much they have and trying to purposely have a luxury apartment and all these things, especially to, brag to other people and feel like they have to keep up a lifestyle. Like I never really see them doing that at all. Like it's actually the total opposite, where most of the time those people are like, girl, how much is those bag of chips? $2? I'm not buying that. You know what I'm saying? Where I'm just like, girl, you got it. Where it's just like, no, I don't got it. They're usually the exact opposite. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like if you really, really want to fake it, you might want to stick with the fact that I'm broke, because that's what a lot of rich people do. You know what I'm saying? They're really simple. They're typically, you can spot one or two things on them that possibly sometimes let you know, okay, I see that bag, I see that watch, but it's always very subtle. It's not flashy, it's not loud, things like that. So I'm always like,
loud ones in the room is usually the brokest.
Exactly. Oh, Miss Kim said fact. She said, wealthy people don't do that yet. EYL is great. They definitely are. Again, I don't watch a lot of television and things like that. I haven't really watched those things in years, but I do for the purposes of my business and my content. I'm on social media, so I'll catch little clips of certain things. And that's when I heard them say, like, wealth is actually pretty quiet. Once you reach certain stages, you are getting into like a protection mode a little bit. So you don't even really want to post it. And yes, we see celebrities doing it. So I feel like that's what people cater to. Like celebrities do a carousel of photos, and one is their shoes, one is their watch, one is their bag, and this and that. But they also are maintaining a brand of that. And a lot of times we know from past experiences, like me and the girls just went to see the TLC musical, that oftentimes that's fake, that they are not making the money that they perceive to be doing and making and so forth. Shout out to Joe Budden. He say this all the time, even in the celebrity world, they're lying. You know what I'm saying? Everybody is trying to portray, especially, and I mean, we ain't even gonna go into like surgeries and all of that stuff. So many people are trying to, cater to this lifestyle, this image, this look of what they see other people looking like, and it's really all, doctored in some kind of way.
Yeah, I was actually gonna bring up EYL myself because I just was watching them maybe an hour or so ago. Like you said, I don't watch too much TV. I don't even think I have a Netflix subscription no more, but I will watch a podcast here and there. And they would basically was saying like the same as you said, like wealthy people usually know who's wealthy. Like if anybody is around you and they like, oh, look what type of shoes she got on, or look, I wonder what brand shirt that is. Like that ain't name brand. And there's usually people that don't really have it. Like rich people, wealthy people don't really. You if you know, like wealthy people not gonna sit there and be like, they not even Nike shoes. Like that's like broke behavior.
Yeah, it definitely is. Oh, hey Martise, thanks for joining us.
What's going on, peace? And yeah, like you were saying about your phone, I got an iPhone 11 Pro Max.
I think that's what I say all the time. I really only upgrade my phone for, the storage purposes, because once I max out, because I do contracts and a bunch of things with my phone, but just for the fact of like, soon as it comes out, you got to have the latest and so forth. And some people that do that, that's fine. And honestly, I'll even give Rich on the Gram, Broke in Real Life a little bit of a break, because things have gotten so expensive that when you say, a $70,000 car, oftentimes, I mean, that kind of is an average, decent working car sometimes. You definitely, if you don't have it, you should always live below your means. Like I always say, no matter what stage of life you're in, whether you make $50,000, $100,000, or $800,000 a year, the only way to be able to truly be financially free is you got to live below your means. Like you have to know where your cutoff line is. So when you see other people doing it, then maybe they have the ability to do that, but to them, they still are living below their means. I can think of several properties that, Jerome and I have purchased, and people may come and like, oh, I love this home, and, it has to be this amount of money and so forth. And to us, we were probably $400,000 under our pre-approval. So we thought that we was, let's go low, you know what I'm saying? And to someone else, it may be different. So even when you see different stages, I always say, no matter what stage of income you are in, revenue, etc., living below your means is very important. So it sounds like just from the letter, it's not a ding on a $70,000 car. It's the fact that it seems like that's living beyond your means. Like it's something that you can't handle. And that's why it's really putting you in a paycheck to paycheck situation. And that can mess with your mentals. Like going back to mental health, finances can truly mess with you mentally. I always say, if you want to change something in your life, the number one thing that I always say, I can't promise you that money can make you happy. If you have tuned into Finance Friday anytime before, I have said time and time again, I don't have any scientific facts that money can buy you happiness. But just think about any situation that you are currently in right now. Having a little money, will it fix it? If the answer is yes, you need to get your finances in order. You need to get a little bit more savings. You need to invest and have a little bit of rainy day funds, because no matter what, those funds could possibly help you get out of a bad situation. And it definitely can affect your mental health. For the negative, if you are just sitting from paycheck to paycheck, like you can mentally get into your head.
Yeah, Nipsey Hussle was saying, like, if you ever feel like you down or you like angry or upset or something like that, he's like, you probably not really angry. You just go get you a couple dollars and you'll feel better. For
Yep.
majority, go get
Just
you a
like
couple
they
dollars.
say, you're not ugly, you're just broke. You're not fat, you're just broke. Every people that have the money, they're just going to get surgeries. They're going to get all the things. Like, just get a little bit of money. And we were just talking about, even when it comes to celebrities, like, go back and watch some of them from when they first came out and probably didn't have a lot of money, to all the way until, once they start making some money. Like, money can change your life. So that's why it's just so important. It's not just only about the financial freedom, it's about the freedom that money provides. So you're not necessarily having that lust for money. Money is the root of all evil. So you don't want to necessarily be like, so what they call money hungry. That's not what you're looking to do. You're looking to be able to get your time back. And that's where that freedom comes, when you have that money to be able to do the things that you want to do. Ms. Kim had a question for me. She said, does your company help people get into staging homes and real estate, and how to get certified? Thank you. No, Ms. Kim, we don't help people get into the staging business. But if you are in the staging business, we hire stagers all the time. But I personally don't have any capacity to add any more courses than I already have, or any other things. And home staging is not my personal realm, but we hire them all the time. So if you start a home staging business, I do sit down and do consultations with people how to get their finances together to start a business, and that can help you with any kind of business. But specifically with certifications, I think we mentioned this a few weeks ago. Like, it's so much information out there that it's almost probably too much information. But I'm sure a quick Google search can tell you some classes and so forth. I don't know if you necessarily need to be certified. I know a lot of stages that I work with, I never heard of them having an actual certification, but I do know it's some programs and so forth that can, if it's not a keen eye that you already have, then they can kind of guide you in those directions and help build on your skills to kind of make you the expert in that field. But yeah, I would holler at Google, some of the AI systems, and I'm sure that they will lead you in the right path, in the right direction, because that is a great industry. Because home stages are extremely expensive, but 85% of homes sell within 30 days when they're staged. So we definitely use home staging all the time. Brandon said rainy day is going to always come. You just got to be prepared. It's always going to come. It's always going to come. I don't even think of a time that, that's why I don't wait for, that's another thing. That's why I don't wait for the perfect time. Have you ever heard someone say, like, I was going to do X, Y, and Z, but I was trying to wait for all of these things to happen, or they were trying to wait for the time that is, in their mind, the right time. You know what I'm saying? And don't get me wrong, you do have to set a plan and kind of have some thoughts and align some things when you're moving forward with a whole new business venture or business plan or whatever that may be, or some thoughts. But I never sit back and wait for the right time. Like, the right time in my life is never going to happen. It's always going to be something. If you have ever followed Making It with the McArthurs, we literally call it that, because every single day, like, Jules had friends over to get in the pool today. Jerome and I be out. He just cut the grass the other day. We're always out back. I literally went out there. I cleaned the pool. I backwash. I did all the chemicals. I checked everything because I knew she was having friends over. We get up this morning and the pool pump didn't come on. Like, it's always going to be something. Like, I literally had to call the pool company. They don't have an emergency appointment until a few days. So I had to tell them we couldn't turn the slides on. We couldn't do any of that, because all of a sudden we wait for this day and the pump for some reason is like not coming on. We know we think we know what needs to happen, but still it's like a whole nother expense, a whole nother thing. Like it's always something. Like the rainy day gonna come. You just gotta be ready where things like that don't put us, don't set us back, because people will say that to us. They'll say, you guys got that pool and you guys got this and that, and it's so expensive to maintain. Well, you can't get a pool until you have the money set aside to maintain it, because it is going to cost. You may walk outside and the pump don't work one day, and now they'll come out as soon as you are ready. They'll come out and they'll fix it in a split second. You just gotta have your money. That's all. That's all it's really about. Once you got your money, they'll come out and your troubles will all be over.
Yeah, having something for a rainy day is definitely extremely important. And just to get back to the letter, she was saying, how does she scale back her lifestyle without feeling like a failure? I feel like you just gotta block out the noise, and like I feel like the same way how 1% of people in the world are wealthy and billionaires and things like that. If you want to be that 1% is also the 1% that's disciplined, the 1% that doesn't care, the 1% that's not scared to take the risk. So if you still at the stages where you saying, oh, how can scale back without feeling type of way or worrying about what people think, then you're not ready to take that next step yet, because you still worry about what other people is thinking. I saw you post something the other day, and it was like your first home is literally just the stepping stool to get to the mansion you're trying to get. That's just a home that you buy to restructure, sit on it, and then you're gonna eventually sell it and use that money to get you another home, and use that in the process.
And I was going to add to that. You okay? Did you just hit your knee?
Oh yeah, I hit my leg on the counter.
I wanted to add too, because I always think that everything needs to be put into context, because I'm also not, I always say in life, and this is what I always say to my kids, in life, I feel like it's a black and white area. It's a gray area. It's an area in between. So I always like to talk about the gray area, because everything is not just etched in stone. So with that being said, I'm not even really a person that's against fake it till you make it. But you have to fake it till you make it responsibly, because there's certain ways to properly fake it till you make it. And one example is, again, being a real estate broker. Oftentimes we have agents that just got their real estate license. They always are very nervous about working with clients, because they don't want to go out and say, I am day one licensed. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've never even done any of this before. And someone may reach out to them to help them, buy or sell or invest in a property. And I always say, if you can't fix it, feature it. So talk about, the years that your broker has been in the industry. Talk about the team that you have backing them. Some people may consider that, faking it till you make it. They may consider that you're out there posting about homes and posting about building wealth, and you don't even own a home. You don't even have these things. So I'm also, in certain circumstances, I don't have a problem with that. But this living beyond your means thing is where we, and trying to impress people. Like when you get to a point where you are not, instead of fixing it, just featuring it, but now you are trying to impress people. I feel like that's that thin line a little bit too, because you have kind of gone beyond the scope of, I'm new in the industry. I don't really want everybody to know I'm new. And now you have reached out to, on a weekly basis, you're buying designer clothes just to impress people. Like that is way too far.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree, and I was actually gonna say the same exact thing. Like, I wouldn't say I'm cool with fake it till you make it, but if you have a plan and you know what you're doing, like I feel like it's areas in your life that you can scale back, and then there's areas in your life that you can be a little flashy. Like rather than her saying she has a crazy monthly rent or something like that, okay, maybe you should scale back on your rent. Like people not coming over your house every day to be up in your personal space, so nobody gonna see where you actually live at, and maybe you can put some of that money into your business. So if you over leveraging or using more money putting into your business, your marketing, your networking ability, stuff like that, where it's going to be a return. Maybe if it's not, even if it's not now, but it's going to get people's eyes to look at you and get that attention on your business. Then maybe that's something you could be like, okay, I know I'm going a little bit above my budget right here, but this is for my business, versus you doing it for something that's personal, like you going on a trip or you buying designer. You need the biggest house, and you might only have 7 guests over your house throughout the whole 365 days. Like you don't need a 2,000 square foot, apartment, high rise, and all of that. Maybe you should scale back for a year, Leases be like 12 to 14 months. I'm pretty sure if you're not ready to sacrifice 14 months of, scaling back, and like I said, you're not ready to take that next, leap to success.
Yeah, and entrepreneurship is like that. So to give them a little bit of a break also is that,
Because it
you
takes money
gotta
to
be.
make money.
Yeah, you got
So
to be prepared for that. You got to be prepared that as you start in your business, you start in your life. Like I said, I don't believe they told us their age in the letter, but you got to be prepared that you might not have everything, meaning you may not have, the car. It said that they're paying their bills every month, so after you make your minimum payments on your credit cards, which is great, continue to do that. So after you do those things, if you don't have a lot left, then guess what? It's time to have a seat. That's when you get into have a seat season, and it's time to sit down. You know what I'm saying? My kids know in a heartbeat. I let them know. Well, that means it's time for you to sit down. You shouldn't be out and about trying to figure out how you got, that's enough gas money to get you to the next time that you make a transaction, a sale, or whatever in your business to be able to get you to the next step. $412 can last all month. So you got 30 days to be out there hustling and bustling to get you some more money. But going out, partying, drink, somebody may call, hey, let's go have drinks. Oh, let's go to brunch. No, you need to sit down. It's time to sit down. Like Mike Medea say, it's time to have a seat. And then you need to tell people, yeah, I'm in my have a seat season and be proud of it. Just like we say about no. No is a full sentence. Let people know and don't be ashamed that you're in I'm out my business right now. I'm in my have a seat season. Even when people ask me, do you know this person? Do you know that person? I'm so focused right now. I don't know nobody. I don't know what nobody doing. I don't know what nobody else got going on. Only thing I know what's going on is what I got going on because I'm trying to just be too focused and too disciplined. So right now I just don't have the ability. Again, I haven't even watched a TV show in 3.5 years because that's just the amount of time that I put into starting my brokerage, doing all these things, getting all these licenses, getting certifications, getting a doctorate degree. Like those things, it may take away some of the small things. So I just may not be able to do those things right now. It doesn't mean I'm not going to get them back. I'm not going to ever bring them back. I do plan on going back, binge watching, one of the shows or something I never seen. What's the 50 Cent series and stuff that y'all watch? I haven't watched. Yeah, I haven't watched any of the those and any of the trilogy shows that come behind it where they separating all the cast that everybody's Kanan. Yeah. I think somebody said Kanan. I can't think of the rest of all of them. I have not watched one episode of those, but guess what? I can easily go back and binge watch all of those and get caught right up. And now I know I'm not missing out on anything. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes as an entrepreneur, you paying your bills, you have the car, you have the property, the luxury apartment. Again, if it deems to be too much and you can't sustain in month after month after month, you are, falling short. Cause I don't know if you still have, gas and electric and food and other things. If that starts getting way too tight, then again, you might need to live a little below your means. But you got to understand that's a little bit of entrepreneurship. You're not going to have it all the time. I was going to say, I saw a little clip earlier today that said, exactly what I just now said. Like, this is what entrepreneurship is. And they said Monday, you can have $5. Tuesday, you can have $20,000. Wednesday, after you pay some bills and now, get caught up on some things because you had this big transaction, you could turn around and by Friday, you back to $300. And now you chasing again, where it's like, I just had $20,000. You might feel like I just had $10,000. But you pay for everything that you need to pay for. You handle some business. And now you got to get back out there. That's a part of building, especially as an entrepreneur. Like that's going to be the case. You're not going to have all of these highs every single week, every single month until you get way more established.
Yeah, I was saying that I think right before you had went on the break and Will had filled in, I was saying how I seen a post that was like, everybody want to be a millionaire, so it's time to risk $100 or risk $200. And I feel like that just goes to like if all falls under, me being under the psychology umbrella, I think it's all mental. Like honestly, the people who I come across these days, I think is doers and people who say they're going to do, and I think that those all show in their actions. Like honestly, Miss what she said, rich on the gram. I feel like if you want your image to be more than what you actually having, then that's what you take pride in. That's what you care about. Like you're not really ready to level up or ready to, go to this next level of success. You just telling us that. But if you were, I feel like those people are the ones that's actually being disciplined. Those people who can actually sit down for 12 months, 14 months. Those people who can actually, not go out on the weekends, or just because it's the summertime, sit in the house sometimes. But the people who saying that they want to do these things, but like, oh, it's Friday, I gotta go out. Oh, it's Thursday, I gotta go catch the new happy hour. Louis Vuitton just dropped. I gotta go get the newest bag or the newest watch. Like, I feel like people that do things like that, or just always talking about what they're gonna do. And like, I have people right now who I'll be literally telling, like, bro, I'm actively telling you that the plans you told me 6 months ago, you're doing the exact opposite of what you told me. And I wish, it was people around that would tell me, like, hey, you need to be doing this and doing that. And I'm telling y'all, and you're not even listening. So it's like, you really don't want it. You really just telling me. Like, somebody commented on my one of my posts earlier and just put like some exclamation points or something. And honest to God, I responded with a laughing emoji. Like, I'm very upfront with my circle, my friends, anybody who I interact with. Like, I will let them know, and it's all out of love. Like, I just be like, oh, you was bluffing this week, like you was playing around, because I understand what it takes to get to that next level. And a lot of people, I'm not gonna say my age, but I mean any age, it's all about mindset. Everybody don't have that I need it mentality, or I want to go get it mentality. And I don't think people really understand the sacrifices that it takes to get there. So a lot of people might be like, oh, I'm strict, or I always got something to say. And it's like, yes, I do always have something to say, because that's what it's going to take to get us to the next level. Like, I'm not going to sit here and just watch you tell me all these plans and ideas you have and all of this, and then you go and do the exact opposite. No, I'm going to say something about it. Don't sit there and say, oh, you want to go buy this big house and be a real estate owner, and then you finally end up getting the house and you don't even have then the air conditioner or the water pipe or something bust, and now you're sitting around looking crazy because you wasn't prepared for the blessings that you was asking for.
Yeah, a lot of people, Miss Kim said that's right. I stay in on the weekends. I stay in all the time. And I was just gonna go back to the letter to say, I love my house. I stay in all the time. Um, I was just going to go back to the letter slightly just to say, a part of that also may be, and this is a recommendation I would give, is to, show both sides of yourself. Show that you enjoy the luxury life. Maybe you want some high-end luxury clients and things like that, and that you want to be, show the part on that end. But, show the other side of yourself. I feel like you'll get even more business when people see how authentic you are. That's always been tried and true. I come on the podcast all the time with my messy bun, my hat, because anybody that, if you know me personally, if I'm not at a seminar, this is probably how I look. I get up, I go to the gym in the morning. I don't really post. I say I need to start posting my gym workouts a lot more, but Jules and I did like this HIIT class this morning at Crunch Fitness that was just, insane. I ain't done a HIIT like that in a long time. We been crawling, pushing dumbbells, doing all types of stuff. I ain't done that kind of workout in forever, and I'm about to be 43 in a few days. So I was just like, but everybody else there ain't like, Jules was probably the youngest person there. It was people there that was way older than me. So I was definitely trying to keep up with them, because everybody know I cycle, I do other things, but I don't do no HIIT like that. But I say all that to say, that's my regular day. So I don't have no problem with showing, this is, if you ever came out to the house to hang with us, I'm probably in a hat, in a hoodie. I'm cold all the time. I'm probably in a sweater, like even if it's 90 degrees outside, I'm probably just chilling. And if you see me in business, then I'm probably, dressed in business attire and, all the things. Even I was in Baltimore recently and somebody was like, girl, where that car at? Because everybody don't know, Jerome has been buying me cars for years, but now he posted it. He's been sharing it. So people were looking to see where my car is, but I'm like, I don't even have that car with me today. I have a Baltimore car also that I drive, because have y'all seen the potholes down here? So it's like, I didn't even have my car with me. So they were looking to see, some luxury stuff. And I was just like, I don't even drive it like that. I drive it, but I don't want to take it somewhere where, the last time I had to get a wheel alignment, I'm born and raised in Baltimore. I already know how to move out here. So I didn't even have it with me, but people will just be expecting when you have certain things that they're looking for you to floss and things like that. So I would say, as a recommendation, just be true to yourself a little bit and show your followers, your clients, all of those things, who you are on both sides. Like, show both sides of yourself. Brandon said, I call it club basement in my house. Yes.
Yeah. Yes. Somebody that definitely will stay in the house. But I'm honestly a true homebody. Like, I enjoy being at my house. Like, I just enjoy being here. But honestly, if I'm giving advice to other people, like, everybody might not like to just always be in the house. So I feel like you have to learn how to play the game. Like, the wealthy know how to play the game. The Monopoly game out here in life, you got to know how to play the networking game. Like, it's different ways you can go outside. Like, if you do want to go out, maybe I'm going to put on my I Am brand t-shirt, I'm gonna have me a budget of $50, and I'm gonna go sit at Moxie's or wherever, somewhere like a nice little upscale bar or something, and I'm gonna go during the happy hour. And now I have on my brand shirt. I know I got my budget in my head. I'm at the happy hour, and now I'm around, the wealthy people who I can network with. Now, hey, this is my brand right here. How you doing? Like, what's that you sipping on over there? So there's different ways you can do it besides going to the club and getting a $400 bottle. Like, no, I'm still around people who are upscale, people who, maybe not. I don't want to be around a bunch of ratchet people this time. I want to be around people who I can learn from, ask them questions. Hey, what you into? You into real estate? Here, take my business card right here. People that's, it's certain rooms you can put yourself in without, putting yourself in a hole and stuff like that.
I'm glad that you said that, because that's something that we literally teach our kids. I know Brandon's in the chat and he always asks, certain things. And that's really, Brandon, this is something that we taught our kids early on. I remember just telling the girls recently, like, if you ever in a situation where your friends want to go hang out and you do want to go, and maybe you have some money, but you just don't want to spend it, or you just don't really want to spend a lot because other things that you want to do, or you want to save, or you already went out once this week, so you don't want to do it twice. If you want to go and you don't want to say, this person been asking you for a few weeks, like, hey girl, let's go hang. When you go out, learn how to get something on the appetizer menu. You don't have to go every single time and get this whole buffet, no matter what restaurant you're at. Learn how to go and be like, I'm not really that hungry, but I definitely still want to go and hang out. Go get you some wings and fries. Go get some finger foods real quick. Get a salad. Have a seat. Like you said, it's okay to still do those things and still be in those environments. But again, that goes back to mindset a little bit, where you have to know how to move in certain environments instead of trying to keep up with the Joneses. Like Miss Kim said, just keep it real. That's the easiest way to possibly do it. So again, just back to the letter, it's a way to maneuver, and maybe that's something they have to learn as well. That's why I always say some of these letters, I have to know people's ages a little bit to know what their mindset may be. Ms. Kim said, invest the $400 instead of buying drinks. Exactly. Like, if you really want to invest more, then have a seat. It's okay to do either one. Just sit down and realize what stage of life you are in. Am I in my have a seat season? Am I in my, I want to have a seat, but I still want to grow my network and my business? Go on Eventbrite. It's a ton of free networking events. You can still get dressed. You can still go out. They probably have free food. They probably have free drinks.
Groupon. I use Groupon all the time. I just did
Groupon. Yes.
I just did like a spa thing for Groupon. It was like $30, and then when we got there, it was like the cold plunge is not working. It's 50% off. I think I did a whole spa, like hot rock, sauna. It was a bunch of stuff. It was nice for like $15, and I'm just posting, world spa. Like, yeah, I'm at this for $15 though. Like, you got to learn how to be on a budget. I think rich people, like you said, a rich person, you're not just going, yes, I have the Bugatti, but I didn't bring the Bugatti today. Like, no, I have it, but I don't necessarily need to flaunt it. And I feel like the people that feel like they need to be like, oh, you see my watch, like you see this on my wrist, like that's the people that they want the attention. Like, I feel like it's just different levels, and I feel like it's levels of maturity and mindset maturity. Like, if you still seeking instant gratification, you still seeking like feedback from people that's basically have nothing or not on your level and things like that. And just to throw this out there for an example, I seen Earn Your Leisure. They was talking about how they felt as though the city of Atlanta wasn't giving them a lot of support for their Invest Fest event. And then I end up clicking the comments, and people was in the comments saying, y'all act like y'all doing Atlanta a favor by doing this. It's basically just like a big, I forgot the word she used, but she was like, it's basically just a big gathering network event. Y'all charging people $400 a ticket to come to this event, stuff like that. And I just was like, this is just like our people for you. Like, don't you go to the club and buy a $400 bottle? Like, so why can't I pay for a $400 ticket to go see Robert Kraft, the richest billionaire in the United States? I mean, I said Robert Kraft, Robert Smith. I'm sorry, I was talking fast. Robert Smith, the richest black billionaire in the United States, $400. Like, you're going to spend $400 at the mall, you're going to spend it on, junk food or drinks, anything else. So why would you not spend it on where you can network with other people? You might get there. And the way you would do that is, yes, I'm going to spend $400 on my ticket, but I'm going to get my $400 back in emails, contact information, business cards, word of mouth, like networking. I'm going to get my $400 back because I'm going to leave with $4 million in networks and contacts.
Yeah, so you're going to definitely catch some gems. Yeah, you're going to catch a bunch of gems. That's what I like about networking events. Ms. Kim said for education and finance purposes with EYL. Yes, you can always, I'm always going to go catch some gems. I know what gems to take, what gems I need, which gems I don't need, what can help my business. I was just telling somebody earlier today on the phone that right now I started the show by saying I've been showing off. I haven't been to a lot of closings. I've been here and there everywhere. So I have 2 or 3 more places this summer before the summer
Yeah, they
ends.
say ABC. They don't say always be at closing. They just say always be closing.
Yeah, always be closing,
So
not
long
at
as you
closing.
closing,
So
it's
yeah, I
cool.
haven't been there. I'm not needed other than for a photo. So if you haven't seen me post clients with a little key, people will start, Eb ain't been working. Yes, I have been still working. I've still been closing. I just have not been physically there. So I don't have a lot of photos and pictures. But with that being said, it's like I understand when I'm going places when I need to get a gem from. So if I'm at this seminar, I'm at this event, I know how to take away from that event the gems that are needed for me to be able to grow my business. And I'm always going to go somewhere with that mindset and that intention. So I always say, even for me in business, I'm never going to be traveling and it's not business expenses, because I'm always going to be talking business. I'm always going to be networking no matter where I move and what I do. So it's always going to be beneficial. So you can't really think about that. That's like those glass half empty / the glass half full type of people. Like, again, a lot of that goes back to mindset, which is another conversation for a whole nother day. But if your mindset not right, then maybe you should stay home. Maybe you should not go out yet, because you ain't in the right mindset to be able to gather the information, to be able to take it back home to grow. And I was saying that I was telling somebody this morning that, after I finish all of my tiny bit of fun this summer, that I'm going to be back locked in. Again, I'm going to be back in my have a seat season come September 1st, because as soon as the kids get back in school, because I know I'm trying to pass my boards for my CFP certification. And I was saying that anytime that I'm learning something and I'm locked in and so forth, in September, if y'all haven't subscribed to the show, September, October, November, once I deep dive in them books, y'all gonna miss so many gems, because I take it back and I reflect it in my life. I start changing things. I start writing down. I start getting so locked in mentally. The more I learn, like the more, when you know better, you got to do better. So when you're in that environment, you got to be able to get that ticket and not see it as a waste of $400. Again, and if you just don't have it, go to a free networking event. It's ways to get around that as well. Brandon said, thanks. Always, that always depends on the person's mindset. Yeah, we just were saying, like, it's all a mindset thing, also. So you got to be mentally prepared to take your life to the next level, because again, it's going to be a bunch of different things that you face during that time. And again, that's a conversation for another day, but you're going to face looking at people who you love, and you're going to realize they don't love me the way I love them. Like, it's going to be a whole bunch of things that you discover as you're taking your life to the next level. Some people going to drop from your life. Some people going to be added to your life. People that you were close to, you're no longer going to be that close to them anymore. It's going to be a bunch of things that change. And sometimes when people are not ready for that next level, they get so afraid of, losing certain loved ones and not being around certain friends the way they used to, that they rather not take their life to the next level and still just hang around their friend group. So that's a whole different stage where mindset is so important when you're looking to grow. So definitely, again, back to the letter, don't worry about faking it, because and living beyond your means. Again, if you just want to be in those, crowds and seem like, I'm just getting started, I'm a business person, and we know that you're 20 minutes into it, that's fine. I don't even mind that. But just living beyond your means is something that we just don't want to see people do to impress people, because that's how you start, on a path going in the wrong direction with your finances early and quickly. And it seems like this person, we don't have their age, but it seems to be somebody who's newly, even if they're 50, you're newly started in business and you're newly started in this life, and you may not want to take that path because it's probably not going to end up the way you want it to end up.
Yeah, I think I would just piggyback on that, just saying I think people also need to work on being more self-aware of themselves. Like, we're not gonna sit up here and act like we perfect. Like, we just telling y'all stuff because we've been through it. So now it's like, okay, I know not to spend this amount. I know I don't have to go out of my way to do things I don't need to do. I know I can scale back on my personal expenses and stuff like that. So I feel like people do need to be more self-aware. The same as how you was like, just because the girl's out of school, after that, you about to lock back in. Like, people need to know when it's time to lock back in. Like, a lot of people want to have, a cheat day, and they might need to have a cheat meal. Or some people might have a cheat week, and they might need to have a cheat day. Like, you need to understand when it's time to, have a small little bit of leeway, have a small little bit of fun, and then get back to the grind, rather than, oh, I'm going all out. I got this check that just hit. I got this new job. I'm going to go get the penthouse condo. Like, no, you don't. You need nobody. They gonna love you the same way with the same condo and the same, Honda you got now. You don't got to go get the next top level, top notch stuff. Like, no, people need to understand how to be self aware, understand their situation, and that's what I feel like it really comes down to. Like, nowadays, I'm not gonna say I don't even want to be around people. I just don't want to be around people who say things that's not them. Like, if you're saying, oh, I want to be so disciplined and do all of this, and now I'm around you for 5 days and I see you just eating a bunch of sugar and you never got out the couch and you sleeping 3 times a day and you didn't ask nothing about no money, and oh, you want to put on the reality show instead of the podcast. Like, this is and I'm not going to judge you for it, but that's the stuff you into. And I feel like once people get to that certain level of success, or something clicks in their mind and say, okay, I want to go achieve that level of success, you start to remove yourself out of those type of rooms just subconsciously. Like, I don't even think that's for me no more. And it's fine that, I did used to be in those rooms, or I did used to like engaging in such activities, but now, it's time to grow up, and it's time to, really get serious about life and what I want out of life.
Yeah, I have a few polls that I want us to get to, but just piggybacking off of what you said, the girls and I sat and we went after church, we went to get a bull bag. I think we went to Crafty Crab or somewhere on Sunday. And Sunday was team takeover Sunday at our church. And a lot of the teams, they had like this team panel, and on the team panel, they were talking about just, when you are heavy in your faith and so forth, and how do you face, some of the challenges as a teen being around your friends. These kids were either in high school or college. People are drinking, vaping, smoking, just even thinking about some of those things. Like, how do you stay true to yourself? And for them to be really young, some of their answers were very impressive. So the girls and I were discussing that, at lunch after church. And what we were talking about was just, friendships and people that you're around will definitely change. Because one of the young ladies on the panel said, at this stage, and she said that she was 19, and she said at this stage in her life, she's already realized that if you're not aligned with, things that she wants to do and where her values are, then typically she's probably not even going to hang with you anymore. So we were kind of talking about, well, should you let your friends go just because they're not married, or just because they don't have the money that you have, or just because they're not, they don't read as much as you read? And, we got to a point where we were saying, well, sometimes early on in life, depending on what the situation is, then those people may still be around in your life. But the truth is, at some stage, as you begin to grow, they say if you hang around 9 people that are broke, soon you're going to be the 10th one. So it's going to come to a point where you're going to have to let those things go. You're going to have to still love them, still be cool with them. I'm not saying just cut people off and block them. You gotta, again, it's a black, white, and a gray area in life. So understanding that, that's not what I'm saying. But as you grow in life, it's going to be really hard. Like, oftentimes, if you ever been around me on a personal level, you'll hear me say, like, people don't even play with me like that. And the reason why I say that is because people don't even call me with no drama. People don't play with me like that. People don't call me with foolishness. So I'm not sitting on the phone in a gossip and this, and I don't spend time on things like that, because the truth is, people don't play with me like that. Like, I don't know all that's going on in a bunch of foolishness, because nobody calls me with it, because I've already set up my life for people to know, don't call Ebony with that foolishness. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I don't be around it. I don't subscribe to it. I'm not a part of it. And, and like you said, I remember the days where I was the person that you called just to tell me, even if you wanted me to help you or to vent, and I'm always going to be a listening ear. But honestly, I feel like I'm at that stage in my life where people don't even really call me to be a listening ear for it, because people just don't play with me like that. They don't call me on that stuff. You know what I'm saying? They be like, listen, Ebony about this, Ebony about that. Don't call Ebony with that. Where I truly, it's just that you will eventually grow to a point where you will grow out of these things. So that's why, again, back to the letter, just to bring it all full circle, going in this direction with trying to live beyond your means and impressing people and so forth, like it's going to get a point where you're going to look back and have done all of these things. And now you really going to be like, all of these things for what? I'm not even cool with these people no more. They didn't help me grow in life. They didn't help me get to the next stage. And now you're going to surround yourself around those people that are doing the things that you want to do. And you're going to realize they're not even doing those things.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree. People don't play with me like that either. I don't even, and it's really be funny because let's say for an example, somebody who I might have went to college with or something, freshman, maybe when I was 17 years old. I'm 28 years old now, so it's like you haven't seen me in 11 years. And yes, on a Friday night we were in college. It was okay to go out and go to a party and all of that stuff right now. But now I'm 28. I got goals. I'm out here trying to do different things. I don't want to go party on a Friday night now. So you might get a completely different reaction out of me. Or if I do just want to have, like I said, a wind down Friday or something like that, we can go sit somewhere else. Or maybe I don't want to go sit out. Let's just, get a glass of wine, bring it back to the house. Look, like I could spend $9, $7 on a bottle of wine. Even if you want to get a upscale bottle of wine, you could spend $20 on a bottle of wine rather than going to go spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars to drink and socialize and stuff like that. So people definitely might just get the same response because you're in a different point of your life.
Me and Rome was sitting around the other day for our anniversary, and we was calculating. We couldn't remember, number one, Rome couldn't remember how old he was and how old he was turning, and then we were trying to figure out how old all of the kids were. So we had the calculator on our phone, and we was like, is Monte 28 or 29? And we were sitting there like, he about to be 29 this year.
That's crazy, because at the beginning of this year, I was telling Bree I'm like, this whole year, I'm thinking I'm like half the year. It's like at least like 2 months. I thought I was 27. I'm like, yeah, I'll be 28 this year. And I'm like, wait, I'm already 28 years old.
I was like, my son is about to be 29 this year. And then we couldn't figure out Martise's age. Like, we were just on the calculator, just like sitting there like, oh my goodness gracious, Lord. Like it does really hold true that, you start forgetting how old you are. You start forgetting that. I used to remember everybody's birthday. I remember my kid's birthday, but I used to remember distant cousins' birthdays and anniversaries and this and that. I just can't hold on to all of those things anymore. But it's just funny that when you said like, I'm 28 years old, where I'm like, we just was sitting around like, is he really 28?
And I feel like I was like the middle layer, like, okay, I'm my age, so whoever older than me or younger than me. So it's like I'm about to be 29. Y'all, most people are almost 30, or if not, they 25, 26, my younger cousins and stuff. It's like, dang, everybody is really grown and adults now.
Yeah, everybody. So I have a few polls. We're getting close to our time. I just want to do a quick few polls, and then I see some comments. I'm gonna go back to the comment. So one poll that I had really quickly is, have you ever made a major purchase or upgrade mostly to look successful?
That's a good one. I'm trying.
So yes, definitely. Or successful, or to impress someone. I think that's what the rest of it's supposed to be. It may have cut off the rest of it. So yes, definitely. 2, no, I typically stay low key. Or 3, you do it sometimes. You've done it in the past, but you're working on scaling back. You know that you have a little bit of a spending habit, but it may not be necessarily to impress people. But have you ever made a major purchase or upgrade mostly to look successful? Meaning, for some reason, similar to the letter, you're starting out something in life and you're like, hey, I may have to do these things to look more successful. Oh, wait a minute. Let me go to the chat real quick, Monse.
We got a lot of comments in there.
Yeah, let me go to the chat. All right, wait a minute, because Malaysia said 28 is crazy.
Happy birthday, Malaysia birthday at midnight. I do remember that. August 1st. Malaysia birthday is at midnight. We ain't gonna say your age on here, but happy birthday for sure, though.
Yes, if you 28, then we already know. We already know. Josie said, I'm watching a reality show and listening to the podcast, multitasking. Okay, Josie.
But that's what I was saying, though, Jules. That's because you on semester break. If you was in your dorm room or at college, you wouldn't be watching a reality show. You would be locked in. So that's why I was like, people, have your fun, but just know when it's appropriate to have your fun.
Yeah, knowing it's appropriate, because Josie already came to me yesterday and was like, "Mom, I'm going to be super locked in this semester." So she's already ready to be locked in. Which I was like, Jules, I felt like you was already locked in. She was like, "No, she has a whole plan for her sophomore year at LSU." So yeah,
that's what I mean by it's a certain mentality, it's a certain mindset. Like I think my sister Jules had, I don't know if you had a 4.0 GPA, Julie, but it probably was close. If it wasn't, I know she got into all her internships she wanted to. I think she got an extra scholarship or something this off semester, and like the fact that you still doing the summer is saying I'm about to go back and be fully locked in. Like that's just how you know it's going. That's what separate people from one another. Like that mindset right there.
Yeah, she definitely was like, I'm about to be locked in. Thanks for joining us. Just do
My
it
guy
smooth.
Smooth, what's up,
Yes,
my
I
boy?
appreciate it. He said, Amen, Mom Dukes, learning that right now. Yes, it's never too late. It's never too late to pick up new habits, to learn different things, to change different things. Oprah just said this week that life starts at 44. I'm about to be 43 on August the 9th. So technically life may have not even truly started for me. I probably haven't even seen, the best days of things that I can accomplish and so forth. So I kind of took heed to that a little bit, like, okay, Oprah, well, I'm ready for the next level. Definitely. Josie said it's a tricky topic. I try to give people grace depending on circumstances and situations because everyone's story isn't the same. Because that's what we were talking about. Josie's piggybacking on when we were talking after church about certain circumstances and so forth. And that was her take on it. I didn't know Julie shared her take on it, but now that she shared her take, that was her take on it, that she wants to give people grace. And what I said to her is, that's okay for right now, but I will promise you that remember the day that your mom said, that's going to work for some time. And then once you get a little older, you're going to slowly see, that some things, the more you are aligned and the more that you grow and some of the things that you're looking to do, that everybody may not be aligned, even with all the grace that you give them, they may not necessarily be aligned. And we were talking about like not hanging with friends because they drink and you don't drink. And it's just like, I don't necessarily have to hang with friends because, disown people because they do something that I don't do. Like, I'm not that person. But what Jules and I were discussing is the thin line is when now you're trying to persuade me to do something that I'm telling you I don't want to do and I'm uncomfortable doing. That's when things kind of change a little bit as well. Malaysia says some people are not around for a reason, just for people are not around for a reason, just for a season. Everybody around for a season, as far as I'm concerned. I've moved. I was telling somebody recently, they said I'm about to start the new phase of my life. I said I'm in phase 27 of my life. You know what I'm saying? I'm on chapter 27. Somebody may have known me to be this. So if anybody came up to you like, yeah, I knew Ed from back in the day and this and that. Listen, I'm on level 27 of my life. As I do, when I know better, I do better. 100%. Brandon says, see, that's for the single folks. Everything for the single folks. Because Brandon, that's a whole nother topic for a whole nother day. None of my peoples better not ask me to go outside on a Friday night and my wife not going and my kids ain't got a sitter. Listen, that's a whole nother topic for a whole nother day, because a lot of this stuff is single folks type stuff. And a lot of times when I read people post on social media, the first thing I think is that's because they single. That's why they said that. You know what I'm saying? They and people will say marriage is just a piece of paper and all things, but people say certain things when they single, and especially when they single and they not all in with their family, their spouse, all of those things.
And I didn't even think of it like that, especially with Jules and Brandon. Jules saying people have different situations. When I speak, I don't have any children at 28 years old. It's people out here who have 6 and 7 year olds. That's my age or maybe even younger. Even if you got a 2-year-old, like that's a whole nother responsibility. I don't have any kids at all.
Yeah, so like you said, that's single stuff. That's why I say some of the letters, when we are giving advice, in full disclosure and disclaimer, we don't know your age, we don't know if you have children, we don't know all the things, so we're just giving general advice based off what the letter is. We don't,
perspective feedback. If you want us to touch specifically on something that you want to hear, or somebody who's dealing with a similar situation as you, either
send us another letter in.
So email or just comment in the chat and we'll chime in on that as well. But we just be speaking and generally everybody definitely have, their own situation. Some people might not become more disciplined or, more self-aware until, late 20s, early 30s. Some people might take mid 30s. Some people might get it at 21. It just depends.
Malaysia said 34 years young and wisdom. Yes.
Okay, Leja.
Youth and wisdom. She says she ain't ashamed of her age.
34 years young. Yeah,
I can't believe Malaysia is 34. It's just some of those things that's just like, this is crazy. Like, time is crazy. Use your time wisely, guys, because time is not waiting on anybody.
34. I feel like I remember when Aunt Stormy was 34. Like, it's no way 34. Like, I remember your 21st birthday.
Josie responded to the poll and said her answer is to no. I stay low key. I stay low key too, Josie. That's how I am. I don't remember being a person to impress people. I would be the person that I would hang out with my friends when everybody about to go out. I would literally hang out with them while they getting dressed and all of that stuff. And then when they leave, I'd be like, all right, y'all. You know what I'm saying? If I didn't want to spend no money, everybody know I'd be calculating my gas. I was the only person that I knew, maybe me and two or three other people in my whole entire high school our senior year had a car. It's not like how you see these kids nowadays where everybody has a car and so forth. So, I was thinking about my gas. I was thinking about all of that stuff. And when you got a car, people are definitely looking to be like, hey, do you want to go? So it's just like, absolutely not. All right, I got one more poll. Let me see which one I should do. So let me see if I can show this poll. Let me stop this poll and see.
Yeah, I think my answer would have been no too. I was trying to think. I think I do what I want to do. I'll go to the thrift store, get an outfit, or however I feel like carrying it that week. That's what I'm gonna do, and I'm gonna make it cool. I feel like I do what I want to do, and I make it cool. I don't go do stuff that's cool to other people.
Yeah, be your own trendsetter. So my last poll says, what's the biggest barrier stopping young entrepreneurs from building real wealth? Do you think it's social media with like the flex culture? Number 2 is lack of financial education, or 3, trying to scale too fast. Like, are they all trying to... Oh, let me see. Let me go into the comments. Brandon said, we agree with Ed Jules. You got to appeal to the people sometimes. Everybody got their own journey. That's what Jules feels. Yeah, Jules definitely says, everybody got their own thing. She was like, I'm not going to not be friends with people for certain reasons. And I do agree. That's why I say I'm not going to necessarily not be your friend, but it will come a time. And I've just seen this in my own life. And I might be a tiny bit older than some people in the chat. But I've just seen it throughout my life that when it's time for me to get focused and really get into certain things and really, like I said, truly take my life, do something that I know is going to take my life to that next level, then oftentimes everybody can't go. I'll just be honest. It's just going to start feeling like it's different, and it's going to start feeling like it's weird, a little bit. Brandon said, to answer the question, at 17, I spent $600 on some grills.
No, that was funny. We had to read that one.
All right, let me see what Malaysia said. And then I have James. Thanks for joining us. I'm going to go to James for the poll.
What's up, James? Thank you for tuning in.
I don't be doing things to impress people, but they be impressed. And I find them trying to compare what they're doing or have so unnecessarily. Yeah, that's true too. People are, they're... Jules says $600 on grills is insanity.
I got nice scissors for people like that, ladies. As soon as I see you trying to be me, you gotta go.
Yeah, that's like weirdo. That's like when you get to weirdo vibes type stuff too. Like if it gets too weird, then no. Like that's again, it goes to when you start trying to do certain things. Okay, so my poll has one.
The poll said, so for people that's younger, what is the biggest issue with them being able to obtain wealth?
It says, what's the biggest barrier stopping young entrepreneurs from building wealth? Is it the social media flex culture? So they're trying to, again, similar to the letter, keep up with social media. So they can't really invest the way they like to because they are, trying to do both at one time and really don't have the means to do that, or lack of financial education, or trying to scale too fast, meaning, we talk about this all the time, Monse, where people think I'm 25, I should already be a millionaire. You know what I'm saying? I'm 23. I'm trying to get to the bag, and their girlfriend is asking them for our 6-month anniversary, we should be in Tulum and all these things. And it's like, I thought that you go to Outback for your 6-month anniversary. Now it's like you go to, some kind of Turks and Caicos or something. That's all the young people do all of those things instead of, I thought you go to like Cheesecake Factory or something. I know Brandon definitely gonna find that funny. Like I thought you hang out at Cheesecake for your 6-month anniversary, but no, they don't do that. They hang out,
Okay,
they have to be going away.
I'm trying to zoom in. Why is it doing that? Okay, there you go. I can see the poll. It say so 100% of people said social media to flex culture. That is crazy. I'm not gonna lie, chat. That's crazy.
Yeah.
All of y'all think that's the reason, that's the hardest thing for somebody to obtain. That's why I said I think it's mentality wise, because I'm not trying to flex at all. Honestly, I think it's self. Like, I think it's yourself that's holding you back. Because I feel like it can take 1 year and change your life. Like, I feel like you can be a person that's, not in a good space, at your lowest, bad financial, this, that, and the third. And if you take your discipline all the way through the roof and just completely, I'm only going to do this, or, I'm going to stick to my routine, I'm going to stick to my plan. I feel like in 12 months, you could be in a completely different situation. So I feel like it's one, yourself. And me and my little brother was talking about this. I don't know if T's still on here, but just real quick, we was talking about this kind of earlier. He was saying he think we in one of the toughest times to make money. And I was like, you think we in one of the toughest times to make money? Like, I feel like we in one of the easier times to make money. And we kind of end up coming to like a mutual ground. I feel like we are in an easier time to make money, but I feel like I said, it take money to make money. So like back to the letter again, if you living above your means and you got all these high expenses and stuff, one, the government not really giving out, that much money. The United States not giving out that much money at your 9 to 5, so you're only gonna be able to make but a certain amount. So unless you invest in or doing something else on the side, it is gonna be a little more difficult to create more capital. So that's kind of hard. And then I feel like people discipline. Like, if you only got $200, we gotta hold that 200 to figure out how we can get it to 400. We can't take the 200 and spend 75 of it, and now we only stuck with 125. Like, no, we gotta be disciplined about it. So I feel like definitely the biggest thing that's stopping young people from obtaining success and wealth is just, one, people is in the way of their own success, and then with their habits and stuff, people in the way of their own success with their habits and not wanting to change, which could be, because they looking at how people look at them. But that's something that if you're ready to get to success or obtain that, you're not worried about how people look at you. Like, I don't care if somebody say, oh, his shirt is not name brand, or his socks got a hole in it. If I got $200,000 in my bank account, nobody's gonna care about that. You only care if somebody's saying, "Oh, you dirty," if you only got $5 in your account. Like, yeah, I'm dirty all the way up, dirty all the way to the bank. I don't care about none of that. So that's just my personal opinion. I think it's definitely yourself, and then I feel like what I don't want to say degrees, what certifications you have, um, how much you can help other people. Like, I was watching Earn Your Leisure right before this, like I said, and they said they think that the best way to create wealth is by making somebody else money. Like, everybody wake up and be like, how can I make more money for myself today, or how much can I make for myself today? When if you want to really create wealth, then you got to figure out how can you make other people money. So I feel like once you change your mindset and your way of thinking, I feel like success will begin to come easier. And even if it doesn't become easier, you'll begin to understand it a little bit more, understand the phases and the process that it takes to get there, because it's not just going to happen overnight. Like, you could be, like I said, it could take 12 months, but it also could take 12 years. But as long as you know the process, I mean, 12 years is not really that long. I'm 28 now, so I'm pretty sure I can wait 12 years and now I'm set for the rest of my life, versus I'm 60 years old and still doing the same thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Brandon said, I think it's a bit of the last two in this day and age, and also a mentality. The social media flexing is maybe a small percentage of young people that are doing it more. My opinion would be, and this wasn't one of the answers, but let me get to Malaysia's comment. Malaysia also said all of them, and the inability to break generational curses as well as learn behaviors. A lot of it is definitely generational, that you have to be that one person, and sometimes you're the first person in your family to step out and do something different. So I definitely believe in that. Changing environment is going to be extremely important. But the truth is, I truly feel like people don't really want to work. Like, people don't want to work the way they really should work to achieve the life that they want to achieve and the things that they want to achieve. It's being a business owner and having multiple companies. It's hard to get people to truly work. Like, we talked about this before, Monte, where it's like, we always have been a by any means necessary type of family, and I mean legally, but I'm talking about getting out there. We've seen Ron work 10 jobs for 20 different companies and doing this, all can't even stand, and he's sleepy and eyes red, and still coming to the basketball game afterwards, and he's sitting there and he dozes off to sleep because he just that tired, but by any means necessary for my family. You know what I'm saying? Whatever I got to do, and even if it's short term, we trying to achieve this goal. My wife want to do X, Y, and Z. We try and get another property. I need to work every inch of overtime that they got at this company. You know what I'm saying? Like all the things where I often see that people don't want to do that anymore. People want the things, the materialistic things, they want the life, but they don't want to work, you know. And when you break it down, this is how I always did with you guys. Like it's 24 hours in a day. Even if you have a 9 to 5 and you get off of work by, you know, get home and relax by 6 p.m. If you want something more in life, you know how many hours are still left after 6 p.m. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like you don't necessarily need all of this sleep, all of this relaxation time, like, and it doesn't have to go on forever. But like you said, you can go hard for 12 months and it'll change your life. You can go hard for 6 months and it'll get you out of the situation. But oftentimes people just go to their job, they come back home, they be like, you know, well, I have my family, I have my kids, so I'm not able to do extra things. I'm not able to pick up extra work. It's going to cost me so much to get that heat press machine to start doing my own business. And they don't know where to start. Like they just don't want to work the way they think that they want to work. And they don't understand how much work is involved to get to the next level. And then when it starts coming to that time where they realize I'm going to have to do A, B, C, D, E, F, and G, then they back off of it. You know what I'm saying? Because it takes a lot and it takes that discipline. So you might have to cancel. You might have 2 vacations for the rest of this year that you said you was going to go to. You don't want to let your family and friends down, but you may have to cancel it because that is what you have to do to get to the next level. And sometimes that next level involves by any means necessary. And oftentimes people don't truly understand what that means and all that they have to do. So they're just not willing to do it.
Yeah, I agree. I think people don't understand the magnitude it takes to get the success, and I feel like young people make too many damn excuses. Like you said, it could be, oh my, even if it's your children, like yes, take them with you. Like figure something out. I don't really accept a lot of excuses unless it's death or you hospitalization or something like that, because somebody else is gonna figure it out. It's a mom out here right now, a single mom with 5 kids that's figuring it out. Like it's proof that other people is gonna figure it out. So I definitely think it's way too many excuses. And if I'm being honest, I feel like it's not even so much of how people are looking at people on social media or, oh, I need to have this instant gratification. I feel like it's the fact that people are able to say whatever they want to say on social media and put into their head that they this person that they're not, and nobody's going to tell them that, you know, give them a reality check, like she was saying in the letter. And I feel like you can get up there on social media and repost these quotes every day that's looking so motivational and make it seem like you could just make it look like something it's not. You can go in the gym, do one set, or be jogging for 2 seconds. I'm out here running, I'm getting it in, y'all. And then as soon as the video over in 30 seconds, you put the phone down and you back sitting down or you walking on. Like you can make it look however you want to make it look. So I feel like it's more so that than people looking at other people. It's the fact that, you know, you get a chance to go out here and be, if I want to get off this podcast right now and open up my phone and type in $600 credit repair on Monday, I'm now doing credit repair. Like you can be whoever you want out here these days with social media. If I want to say, oh, I do car details, or I'm a mechanic, or I'm a magician, like whatever you want to post, I can go make a page right now that says I am magical and get some AI photos and filters and stuff. And now I got a whole magician page. Put a hat on. Like you can be whoever you want to be out here, and nobody gonna come and say, you do know I know you in real life, right? I feel like it's more so of that than looking at other people. People need to really have a reality check and say, damn, I am broke. Wow. I do need to get healthier. Wow, I can communicate better. And we all human. So that's something that we need to, you know, fix ourselves, improve with. Nobody's perfect.
Brandon said, I ain't going to hold you. I need my vacations, but I like planning my vacations a year plus out. Well, let me tell you, I love a vacation. I love a vacation.
I love my vacations too, Brandon.
There's plenty of years that I don't take one. And oftentimes people want to know how Jerome and I have done certain things and achieved certain things. And they always say, you know, I always give, for example, when I was in my doctoral program, it was so many people. For some reason, it's like the way your brain works. When you buy a red car, you start seeing a lot of red cars. It's called reticular activation. So now that I'm in my doctoral program, I'm now coming across other people that is like, yeah, I did certain amount of credits and this and that, or I went to school and I was going to do my PhD and I was going to do this and the other. And oftentimes what I hear, and this is full transparency, people will say, but I decided not to finish. I was kind of halfway through, but my business took off. And when their business took off, that's most of the time what people do a lot of these things for, is to take their business to the next level, certain things. And I always say that in the middle of my doctoral program, I was at the height of my career. Like I'm killing it now. You know what I'm saying? I have mastered real estate. I've done my 10,000 hours. I just opened my own brokerage, broker owner in 4 different states. And I feel like I could have easily stopped the program. You know, I could have easily said, listen, I don't need to do this anymore. But to take things to the next level, I was just thinking about like my future, you know, with all these things that I've done, I'm still thinking about when I'm 70, when I'm 8, like what can I do now? And all I was thinking was, when I finish this program, I can be a professor somewhere. Like a lot of my professors in the program were like 80 years old. Like I can do these things and they still were making, you know, $250,000 at these phases. So I always say, and back to Branda's comment, it's not that it's an issue with your vacations. It's when you're trying to take things to the next level. And it sounds like from the letter, this person is trying to do that. And they just are possibly living beyond their means of things that they're not able to do. Because keep in mind, everybody not trying to take their life to the next level. I've learned that also. I used to always be trying to convince everybody to do better. It's a reason why it's a top 1%. Everybody's not going to do more than what they're doing right now. Everybody don't want to do more than what they're doing right now. So I've learned as a part of business too, to kind of reel that back, because I used to try to get everybody, you know, to be the top 1% successful person, and everybody do all of these things, and it's not meant for everybody. So to me, it's only if, and whenever I do vacations, I always plan a year in advance. So you got to do that. You got to learn how to budget. You got to know how to, you know, so I definitely agree. I'm not going to, just for the children's sake, how Brandon was saying, you know, I got family and kids. I can't just plan something tomorrow. So definitely always plan in advance. But I just have learned that when I'm really, really trying to lock in, sometimes I can't go somewhere. I gotta, like, it, the time won't allow for me to do it. Brandon said, now I will never take a vacation with no planned funds. But of course, I didn't take a vacation when I was working 2.5 jobs to get my house. So I definitely get it, because I know how to handle business when I'm supposed to. That's all I'm really saying. That's all I'm saying. Like, when it's time to lock in, it's time to lock in. Like, that's when you can't do certain things. And then, like, say, for example, next year, y'all gonna see me on so many vacations because I haven't really done.
Then you really can ball the way you want to ball. Because if you ball
next year, I was on the phone with my best friend earlier.
And see how much work you really need to put in, because you've been faking so much.
Yeah, I was on vacation with my best friend earlier, planning my 2027. When I'm talking about the amount of partying and the amount of vacations that y'all about to see out of Dr. Ed is going to be next level insane. I just told Brandon on another comment, block your whole daggone there June, July, and August if you really want to be a part of these festivities, because, and you know, most of our stuff is free, so all you gotta do is be available. But I'm talking about, I done told Rome, I'm trying to rent a yacht, I'm trying to do a boat party, I'm trying to do all the things. So I'm going to be showing my tail for 2027. So,
and that's how you know when you're really ready too. Like if you really want to hang with the wealthy people and the rich people, when they on the yacht for 7-8 days, are they like, yeah, y'all want to book it for another week? Y'all want to stay for another 3 days? And you got to get your tail back to work. You know, you probably need to be grinding some more.
Yes. Because one thing I will tell you, I wake up every day and do whatever I want. So I have the flexibility. I've been doing that since, I haven't punched the clock since like 2008, 2009. I wake up every day and do whatever I want. So for 2027, I'm going to be waking up, and boy, it's going to be insane. I'm already planning it. So yes. But I'm not gonna hold, I don't want to hold everybody too long.
Might say, yeah, we gave y'all like an hour and a half today.
Yes, we've been chatting it up on here today.
My quick hits is just, I feel like if you want your life to be more easier, do what's hard. If you want your life to be more hard, continue to do what's easy. And don't forget to check on y'all strong friends. That's all I got for y'all today for my quick hits.
Yeah, I think we're going to leave on that note because, I don't have a bunch of quick hits. The real estate market is doing what it's going to do. If you've been waiting and holding out, now is not the time to do that. We have our new finance chair. We may have to do an episode on that specifically because I feel like a lot of people don't stay in the know like they should in the finance industry. So we're expecting for interest rates to go back up at his next meeting. So again, if you're ready, you have a pre-approval letter, or you think that you have a possibility of being ready, do not wait. Now is the time to get into the door, get that first property, get some leverage as well. I've posted to say if you have a 500 credit score, please give me a call. Minimum 500 credit score. I have a new program that gets go as low as 500. You do need your own down payment. We can negotiate for the seller to pay all of your closing costs. It's a great opportunity for someone who has a little bit of savings, but may be struggling to get their credit score where they want it to be. So it's always a loophole for everything. But I'm going to check out on that because I think that was a great quick hit and a mental health moment all in one. So thank you all again for tuning in. It's always such a quick conversation. I was actually talking to James earlier today, and I was telling James that we be trying to get everything out, but trying to get it out in an hour and so forth. So I be feeling like we need more time to explain and go into details of how we truly feel. So hopefully y'all comment under here, and then we can leave some more comments and we can revisit some of these conversations because an hour, even an hour and a half is not enough time to kind of deep dive into some of these letters and mindset, and just finances in general is just something that you have to tackle and just kind of learn and grow in on a daily basis. Oh yeah, James and I was talking about that earlier. So
Yeah,
something
we definitely appreciate everybody who tuning in every Friday. Like I said, it's 8:28 where I'm at. I know it's 9:28 with some of y'all. Some of y'all have children. It's almost 10 o'clock at night on the weekend, and y'all on here with us learning, giving us feedback. So we definitely appreciate y'all. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe to our YouTube channel, please. If you missed the show, some people be reaching out saying they missed it, they was busy, or they might have got on late. You can always rewatch it again on YouTube. You can always comment on Facebook. Like my mom was saying, we'll always, still comment even after the show is over with, give y'all some feedback and stuff like that. So feel free to watch the replay, like, comment, subscribe. And yeah, if you want your life to be harder, do what's easy. If you want your life to be easy, do what's hard. Don't forget to check on y'all strong friends, and we see y'all next Friday.
Yes, thank you for tuning in for another episode of Finance Friday, the CEO Lounge. Have a blessed day and a great evening.
Yes.
Tell someone this week that you're proud of